All right, so you're ready to jump into the world of entrepreneurship with me today.
I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We are diving deep into some material from Brian Tracy.
Okay.
He was featured on the YouTube channel Quiero Ser Rico,
Okay.
which translates to I want to be rich.
Right.
And who doesn't want to be rich?
Um,
So Tracy breaks down business success into 7 key principles, no matter what kind of venture you are building.
it's a good number, 7.
It is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of these self-help business type videos and books and things.
Digestible, 7.
7 habits of highly effective people, right?
Exactly.
7 this, 7 that.
Yeah, it's a magic number.
Magic number.
So it is a pretty refreshing take, especially when he digs into what he calls the absurdity of traditional business school teachings.
Right.
And, he really challenges the need for elaborate business plans, which I think a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs get hung up on.
Yeah, I think that can be a real roadblock for a lot of people.
It can be.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, and it can be intimidating, right?
Yeah.
To think that you have to have this perfect plan all laid out before you even get started.
Before you even get started.
And sometimes it's better to just start,
Exactly. Just dive in.
Yeah, and figure it out as you go along.
And adjust as you go.
Exactly.
So let's get into these principles. The first one that Tracy really emphasizes is leadership.
Okay.
And he says that it's not just about being the boss. It's about making those tough decisions.
Right.
The ones that really shape the direction of your business.
It's about having a vision
Yes,
and being able to make the decisions that are going to move you towards that vision.
absolutely. And he has this great quote.
Okay.
If decisions were easy, everyone would be a leader and everyone would be rich.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really good. And it really highlights how crucial it is to be decisive,
Right.
especially when it comes to allocating resources.
Yeah, because you only have so much time, so much money, so much energy.
Right.
So you have to make those choices wisely.
Yeah, that really resonates with me.
Okay.
I think there are always so many options, and it's really easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis.
I know, I suffer from that.
Me too, constantly.
Yeah.
But ultimately, inaction can be just as detrimental as making the wrong decision.
I think that's true.
You're just stagnant.
Yeah, you're not moving forward.
You're not moving forward. You're not learning from your mistakes.
Right.
You're not growing.
And the world is changing around you.
It is.
So if you're standing still, you're actually falling behind.
You're going backwards.
Yeah.
So do you have any examples of leaders who are really known for their decisive action?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would point to someone like Elon Musk.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he's constantly making these bold decisions,
He is.
some of which seem downright crazy at the time.
They do.
But whether you agree with his choices or not, you can't deny his ability to make a decision and move forward with conviction.
To commit.
To commit, yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to.
I think so too.
It's the conviction. It's like, I made this decision,
Right.
and I'm going to see it through.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself
You do?
and in your vision,
Yes,
and then just go for it.
totally. So strong leadership is the first principle.
Okay.
But even with the best leader at the helm, challenges are inevitable.
Oh, absolutely.
And that brings us to Tracy's second principle,
All right.
focusing on solutions, not problems.
Right.
And this is a good one.
I love this one.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get bogged down in problems, especially when you're first starting out.
it is, because there are many.
There are so many,
Yeah.
and you're constantly hitting roadblocks and facing challenges.
And sometimes they just feel insurmountable.
They do, but Tracy encourages us to shift our perspective,
Okay.
He compares it to walking towards the sunlight.
Okay.
As you move forward, the shadows naturally fall behind you.
That's a powerful analogy.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's about focusing on what you want to achieve,
Right.
not on the things that are holding you back.
So dwelling on the problems just keeps you stuck in the darkness.
Exactly.
And what are some techniques that people can use to develop that more solution-oriented mindset?
Well, I think one approach is brainstorming.
Good.
Instead of getting caught up in the problem itself, gather your team, if you have a team,
Yeah.
or just some trusted advisors or friends.
Get those minds together.
Yeah, and focus on generating as many potential solutions as possible.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how crazy they might seem.
No idea is a bad idea.
Exactly, at this stage.
Yeah.
And then you can evaluate those ideas,
Okay.
refine them,
Right.
until you find a workable solution.
And that's the key.
That is the key.
Workable.
Right, because sometimes the most brilliant idea is not practical.
It is not.
It's not feasible. So you have to find something that's going to work in the real world.
And that's where the critical thinking comes in after the brainstorming.
Is-
Yeah, so you have to have both sides of the brain working there.
Absolutely.
Another technique that he mentions is root cause analysis.
Right.
And that involves kind of digging deeper
Going deeper, yeah.
to understand the underlying cause of the problem rather than just addressing the symptoms.
Right. It's like treating the disease, not just the symptom.
Exactly. Very good analogy.
Thanks.
So we have strong leadership and a solution-oriented mindset, but what about the actual product or service?
Right. You have to have something to sell.
You do.
That's pretty important.
Very important. That's where Tracy's third principle comes in.
Okay.
Obsess over quality.
Right. And he's very clear about this.
He is.
He states that 90% of business success hinges on having a fantastic product or service.
90%.
90%.
That's a big percentage.
It is a bold statement.
Bold statement. So it seems like what he's saying
Yeah.
is that even with the best marketing and sales strategies, you won't succeed if your product isn't top-notch.
I think that's true. I mean, you can fool people for a little while.
For a little while.
But eventually, people are going to figure out.
Yeah, the truth of it.
Yeah, and word of mouth is powerful.
It is.
So if you have a crappy product, people are going to talk about it.
They're going to tell everybody.
Exactly.
So how do you define fantastic?
Well, he uses the example of the Inc. 500 list,
Okay.
which tracks the fastest growing companies in the U.S.
Right.
And he says that one thing these companies all have in common is this unwavering commitment to delivering exceptional quality.
Okay.
It's about exceeding customer expectations, not just meeting them.
So it's not just about functionality.
Right.
It's about that whole customer experience.
Absolutely. It's about making people feel good about doing business with you.
So how does a business actually go about achieving that level of quality?
Well, it starts with understanding your target audience.
Right.
What are their needs? What are their pain points?
What are their wants, their desires?
Exactly. And how can your product or service solve those problems better than any other solution on the market?
Better than anything else.
Right. You have to have a unique selling proposition.
You do.
And it also involves implementing rigorous quality control processes.
Throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, throughout the entire development and production cycle.
So from beginning to end.
From beginning to end, yeah.
It's got to be baked in.
It has to be baked in.
Yeah.
And finally, it's about constantly seeking feedback from your customers.
A feedback loop.
Yeah, and using that feedback to iterate and improve.
So you're constantly evolving.
Constantly evolving, yeah.
And I think that makes sense because the market is constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
The needs are constantly evolving, the desires, the wants.
And your competitors are evolving.
Yes.
So you have to stay ahead of the game.
So you need to understand your customer deeply, which brings us to Tracy's fourth principle.
Okay.
Think like a customer.
Right. And this is really an extension of what we were just talking about.
It's a natural progression from obsessing over quality.
Yeah, because you can't create a fantastic product or service if you don't understand the people you're creating it for.
Right. And he uses Apple as an example of a company that excels at this.
Okay.
And I think their product launches are legendary for creating excitement and turning customers into these like passionate evangelists.
Right. They have a cult following.
They do.
People love Apple products.
And I think what's interesting about Apple is that they often anticipate needs
Yeah.
that customers don't even realize they have yet.
Right. They're not just following trends, they're creating them.
They're creating them.
Yeah.
So how do we, who are not Apple, tap into that think like a customer mentality?
Well, I think one way is to gather feedback directly from your customers. This
Right.
could be surveys,
Right.
focus groups,
Yeah.
or even just casual conversations.
Talking to people.
Yeah, just asking people what they think,
Yeah.
what they like, what they don't like.
Be approachable.
Be approachable, exactly. Another approach is to observe how people are interacting with your product or service in the real world.
Right.
Are they using it in the way that you intended?
Right. Is it intuitive?
Yeah.
Are they encountering any difficulties?
Yeah. Is there something that's not working quite right
Right.
that you didn't anticipate?
And the key is to be constantly seeking insights into that customer experience and then use those insights to inform your product development and marketing strategies.
Right. It's about being responsive
It is.
to what your customers are telling you and
Yeah.
not being afraid to make changes.
Right. So it's not just about asking customers what they want.
Right.
It's about understanding their underlying motivations and their needs.
Absolutely. It's about going deeper.
It is going deeper, yeah.
Yeah. It's about understanding the why behind the what.
The why behind the what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really valuable insight.
And once you understand those needs, you can start thinking about how to attract those customers and convert them into paying customers.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the distinction between marketing and sales.
Okay.
This is Tracy's fifth principle.
All right. And I think this is one that a lot of people get confused about
Yeah, I think so too.
because they feel like very interconnected.
They are.
But what's the key difference?
Well, Tracy explains it with a simple analogy.
Okay.
Imagine you're hungry at lunchtime.
Okay, I'm hungry now.
You're hungry now.
Yes.
So feeling hungry is like marketing.
Okay.
You're aware of a need.
Okay.
Then choosing a specific restaurant to satisfy that hunger, that's sales.
Okay, so marketing is creating the awareness,
Creating the awareness.
generating the interest,
Yeah.
and then sales is closing the deal.
Closing the deal, getting them in the door.
Yes, getting them to buy.
Yeah,
And those two have to work together, right?
absolutely.
They do.
Marketing attracts the right people.
Right.
And sales converts them into paying customers.
It's a two-step.
It's a two-step, and both functions need to be informed by a deep understanding of the customer.
Right, which we just talked about.
What we just talked about.
Right, and you've attracted the interested leads
Yes.
through your marketing efforts. What's the next step?
Well, that's where Tracy's sixth principle comes in.
Okay.
Systematize your sales process.
Make it a system.
Make it a system, exactly.
Yeah.
He emphasizes the importance of having a structured, professional approach to sales in order to achieve consistent results.
It can't just be willy-nilly.
Right. You can't just be winging it.
You can't know. And I've definitely seen how a haphazard sales process can lead to missed opportunities.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when you're just not organized and you don't follow up.
Right. Or you don't have a clear understanding of what the next steps are, and you're just
Right.
kind of hoping for the best.
You're just like throwing things at the wall
Yeah, you're not being strategic about it.
and hoping something will stick.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what does a systematized sales process actually look like?
Well, it involves creating a clear roadmap for your sales team to follow. This could include defining specific stages in the sales cycle.
Okay, so like a step-by-step.
Step by step, yeah.
Yeah.
Developing scripts and presentations.
Having all your materials ready to go.
Yeah, having your materials ready to go.
Yeah.
Implementing a customer relationship management system or a CRM.
Right, so you're tracking everything.
Tracking everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And setting clear metrics to track progress.
How are we doing? Are we meeting our goals?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's about taking the guesswork out of sales and creating a repeatable process that drives results.
Right, a process that works.
The process that works, yeah.
And are there any examples of companies that have successfully implemented this type of system?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Tracy shares a story about a company whose sales skyrocketed
Wow.
after they implemented a standardized sales process.
So that's proof in the pudding right there.
It is. It's proof that it works.
Yeah.
They went from having inconsistent results to consistently exceeding their targets.
So that's really the goal.
Right. That is the goal.
Consistency.
Predictability.
Predictability, yeah.
And that's something that can be applied to businesses of all sizes.
Right.
I think a lot of times people think, oh, this is just for big corporations.
Right.
But even if you're a solopreneur,
Right.
having that defined sales process can help you stay organized and increase your chances of closing deals.
Absolutely. It's about being professional
Yeah.
and having a system in place.
So we've covered leadership, problem solving, product quality, understanding the customer marketing and sales,
Uh-huh.
systematizing the sales process.
Yeah.
What's the final principle?
So Tracy's seventh principle is all about making customer happiness your top priority.
Okay.
He argues that building a successful, sustainable business depends on creating a truly exceptional customer experience.
Right. And I think this resonates with the current business landscape.
Oh, absolutely.
Where customer reviews and word of mouth can make or break a business.
It's more important than ever. It's more important than ever. So how do you go beyond just satisfying a customer?
Right.
How do you achieve that true customer happiness?
Well, he highlights the example of Tony Hsieh and Zappos,
Okay.
which is a company that's renowned for its dedication to customer service.
They're in for it.
They are.
Yeah.
They built their whole brand around delivering amazing customer service, and it paid off big time.
It did.
Yeah.
So they understood that happy customers are loyal customers.
Right.
And loyal customers are the foundation of any successful business.
Absolutely. It's cheaper to keep a customer than it is to get a new one.
I've heard that
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's not just about resolving issues when they arise.
Right.
It's about going above and beyond to anticipate needs and create a positive, memorable experience for every customer.
Exactly. It's about building relationships
Yeah.
and exceeding expectations at every touch point.
I think that's a good place to kind of pause and
Right.
reflect on these first 7 principles because we've covered a lot of ground already. And it's clear that these 7 principles are all interconnected.
They are. They all build on each other.
And they do. They all build on each other,
Yeah.
and they all contribute to creating a really successful, holistic approach
Yeah.
to building and growing a business.
A solid foundation.
A solid foundation.
Yeah.
And that's key.
It is.
So I'm glad we're taking the time to really dig into these.
I am too.
Because I think they're valuable insights.
I think so too, and I think it's helpful to hear them repeated and reinforced.
Repetition is key.
It is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to hear something multiple times before it really sinks in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's one more.
One more.
Yeah, that kind of underlies all of these principles we need to discuss.
Right.
Because it's really the foundation.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
For everything else.
I'm ready to hear it.
So we'll be digging into that after this quick break.
Great.
All right, so we're back, and we're talking about the 7 principles of business success that Brian Tracy lays out.
Yeah.
And we've covered the first 7.
We have.
But there's another crucial element that Tracy highlights
Okay.
that we haven't touched on yet,
I'm all ears.
and it's understanding your numbers.
Right, the financial side of things.
The financial side of things, and it's something that he emphasizes with the phrase, you make or lose money on every sale.
That's a powerful statement.
It is a powerful statement, and I think it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of launching a business
Oh, yeah.
and to focus on the product, the marketing, the customers,
The creative side.
the creative side,
Right, the fun stuff.
the fun stuff. But without a solid grasp of your financials,
Uh-huh.
you're setting yourself up for potential trouble down the road.
Yep. Big time.
Big time trouble.
Yeah.
So I can see how that might happen,
Okay.
especially for entrepreneurs who are driven by passion and creativity,
Right.
because numbers can feel a bit dry and intimidating
They can?
compared to brainstorming new ideas or connecting with customers.
Right. It's not as sexy.
It's not as sexy.
Yeah, it's not the glamorous side of entrepreneurship.
But you're saying that financial literacy
Yes.
is just as important as any other aspect of running a business.
Absolutely. I would say it's even more important.
Even more important.
Because if you don't have a handle on your finances, it doesn't matter how great your product is or how brilliant your marketing is.
The business will fail.
The business will fail, you'll run out of money,
You will.
and then it's game over.
Game over.
Yeah, so you really have to have a solid understanding of your financials from the very beginning.
From the very beginning. And think of it this way.
Okay.
Your passion and creativity,
Uh-huh.
they are the engine of your business.
Okay.
But your financials are the fuel.
I like that.
You need both to keep moving forward.
That's a great analogy.
So where do we even begin?
Well, I think the first step is to get familiar with the 3 main financial statements.
Okay. And those are?
The profit and loss statement,
Okay.
also known as the income statement,
Okay.
the balance sheet,
Okay.
and the cash flow statement.
Okay. So 3 different statements.
3 different statements, and they each tell you something different about your business.
Okay. And what do those statements actually tell us?
Okay, so let's start with the profit and loss statement.
Okay.
This statement shows you how much money your business has made,
Okay.
which is your revenue,
Revenue,
and how much it has spent,
which are your expenses,
which are your expenses.
over a specific period of time.
Right, so it could be a month, a quarter, a year.
So it's a snapshot of your profitability.
Exactly. It tells you whether you're making money or losing money.
So if my revenue is higher than my expenses, that means I'm making a profit.
You are making a profit.
I'm in the black.
You're in the black.
I'm happy.
Everybody's happy.
And if my expenses are higher than my revenue,
Then you're operating at a loss?
I'm in the red.
You're in the red, and that's not a good place to be.
No, not a good place to be.
So the profit and loss statement helps you track those key metrics and understand whether your business is making money or losing money.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, so now let's move on to the balance sheet.
All right, the balance sheet, what does that tell us?
The balance sheet is a snapshot of your business's financial position at a specific point in time.
Okay, so it's like a photograph.
Like a photograph, yeah.
Okay,
It shows you what your business owns,
which are your assets?
which are your assets, what it owes,
Which are your liabilities?
which are your liabilities, and what's left over for the owner.
Which is the equity?
Which is the equity, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a way to see the overall health of your business.
It's like a financial checkup.
It's like a financial checkup,
I
exactly.
like that.
And then the third statement is the cash flow statement.
Okay, the cash flow statement.
And this one is all about tracking the movement of cash in and out of your business.
Okay.
It shows you where your cash is coming from, where it's going, and how much you have on hand at any given time.
And why is that so important?
Well, because you can be profitable on paper, but still run into cash flow problems.
Okay, so I can be making money,
You can be making money,
But not have any money.
but not have any cash.
Cash.
Yeah, and that's because of things like timing differences. So, for example, if you have a lot of customers who are slow to pay their invoices, you might not have enough cash on hand to cover your operating expenses, even if you're technically making a profit.
Right, because it's not in the bank yet.
Exactly, it's not in the bank yet.
So even if I'm selling a lot of product, I could still run into trouble if I'm not collecting payments on time.
Absolutely. That's why the cash flow statement is so important.
It's all about the cash flow.
It's all about the cash flow, yeah.
So now I understand the basics of these financial statements.
Okay.
But what do I actually do with that information?
That's where financial analysis comes in.
Okay, so I need to analyze.
You need to analyze those numbers, look for trends.
Trends, pattern.
And use that information to make informed decisions about your business.
Okay, so can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you notice that your cost of goods sold has been steadily increasing over the past few months.
Okay.
By analyzing your profit and loss statement, you might identify that the price of raw materials has gone up.
Okay.
Or maybe your manufacturing process has become less efficient.
Okay, so I can pinpoint the problem.
Exactly. You can pinpoint the problem, and then you can start to think about solutions.
Maybe I need to renegotiate with my suppliers.
Right.
Or find ways to streamline my production process.
Exactly.
So it's all about using the data to identify weaknesses and then make improvements.
Absolutely. But it can also help you identify opportunities.
Okay, so I can also find the good stuff?
You can find the good stuff too, yeah.
Let's say you notice that a particular product line is consistently outperforming the others.
Okay.
You could then analyze your sales and profitability data and decide to invest more heavily in that product line.
Right. Double down on what's working.
Double down on what's working.
Yeah.
Expand its marketing efforts, or even develop new products in a similar category.
Right. Capitalize on your success.
So it's not just about reacting to problems, it's about proactively looking for ways to grow and improve your business.
Exactly. It's about being strategic and using your financials to make informed decisions.
I love it.
And the more comfortable you become with analyzing your financials, the more confident you'll be in making those decisions.
That's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling.
So how often should I be analyzing my financials?
Well, that depends on the size and complexity of your business. But at a minimum, you should be reviewing your financial statements monthly.
Okay, so at least once a month.
At least once a month, yeah.
And is this something I can do myself, or do I need to hire an accountant or a financial advisor?
Well, if you're comfortable with numbers and you have the time to dedicate to it, you can certainly handle the basic financial analysis yourself. There are also a lot of great software programs and online resources available that can help you streamline the process.
Okay, so there are tools out there.
There are tools out there.
But for those of us who aren't as comfortable with numbers,
Right.
seeking professional guidance is probably a good idea.
It's probably a good idea, yeah. I mean, an accountant or financial advisor can help you set up your accounting systems,
Right.
analyze your financials, and develop a solid financial plan.
So it's an investment.
It's an investment, but it's an investment that can pay off big time in the long run
I agree.
because it can help you avoid costly mistakes
Right.
and make more informed decisions about your business.
So understanding your numbers is really about gaining control, making informed decisions.
Right.
It's not just about compliance or avoiding problems.
Yeah.
It's about empowering yourself to strategically steer your business towards success.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your financial destiny.
I like that, taking control.
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about the internal workings of the business.
We have.
We've talked about the financials.
Yeah.
But now we need to zoom out a little bit
Okay.
and look at the bigger picture,
All right. I'm ready.
which is the external environment.
Okay.
So we're talking about things like market research and competitive analysis.
Right. Understanding the landscape that you're operating in.
Understanding the landscape, and I think you can have the best product, the strongest team, the most efficient operations.
Yeah.
But if you're not paying attention to what's happening outside your business,
Yeah.
you could be missing out on opportunities
Absolutely.
or even heading for trouble,
Big trouble.
big trouble,
Yeah. You could be blindsided by a competitor.
blindsided.
Yeah. Or by a change in the market.
It's like sailing a ship.
Okay.
You need to be aware of the wind and the currents to chart the right course.
I like that analogy.
So just like a sailor needs to understand navigation, an entrepreneur needs to understand market research and competitive analysis.
Absolutely. It's about knowing your target audience,
Right.
knowing your competitors, and understanding the broader industry trends that are shaping your business environment.
So how do we actually go about gathering this information?
Well, There are a lot of different approaches,
Okay.
but some common methods include industry reports and publications,
Okay.
competitor analysis,
Ah,
customer surveys and focus groups,
yeah.
and even social media monitoring.
So there's a lot of different ways to gather information.
There are, yeah, and it's important to use a variety of methods
Oh.
to get a well-rounded view of the market.
So can you give me some specific examples of how these methods might work?
Sure, let's say you're launching a new line of organic skincare products.
Okay.
You could start by researching industry reports and publications
Oh, yeah.
to understand the size of the organic skincare market,
Okay.
the key trends driving growth,
Huh.
and the major players in the space.
So that gives me a sense of the overall landscape,
Exactly. It gives you a big picture view.
the lay of the land.
The lay of the land, yeah.
Okay. And
And
then,
then you could dive into competitor analysis.
okay.
Visit the websites of your main competitors, analyze their product offerings, pricing strategies, marketing messages.
To do your research.
Do your research, yeah, and read customer reviews to understand their strengths and weaknesses.
Okay. So I can see what they're doing well
Uh-huh.
and where they're falling short.
Exactly. And that can help you position your own products and differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Okay. So I can find my niche.
You can find your niche, yeah.
And then you can also conduct customer surveys and focus groups.
Right. To gather direct feedback from your target audience.
So talk to the people who are actually going to be buying my products.
Exactly. Ask them about their skincare needs,
Okay.
their preferences for organic products,
Uh-huh.
their price sensitivity, and their overall shopping experience.
So I can get a better sense of what they're looking for.
Exactly. And that can help you develop a product that they're actually going to want to buy.
Right, because it's all about the customer.
It is all about the customer.
And then finally, there's social media monitoring.
Right. And this can be a great way to stay on top of emerging trends,
Correct.
identify potential influencers,
Yeah.
and even get a sense of what people are saying about your brand.
So it's about gathering information from a variety of sources
It is, yeah.
to create a comprehensive understanding of the market.
Exactly. And the key is to be strategic and focused in your research.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what are the specific questions you need answered?
Right.
What are the most important data points for your business?
So I'm not just randomly gathering information.
Right. You're gathering information that's going to help you make better decisions.
So I can actually use this information to make decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do I do that?
Well, market research can help you in a number of ways.
Okay.
It can help you identify new opportunities,
Okay.
refine your product or service offerings, develop effective marketing and sales strategies, and make informed pricing decisions.
So can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say your market research reveals that there's a growing demand for eco-friendly packaging in the skincare industry.
Okay.
This could be an opportunity to differentiate your brand by offering products in sustainable packaging materials,
Okay.
which would appeal to environmentally conscious consumers.
So I'm using market research to identify a trend
Uh-huh.
and then adapt my product strategy accordingly.
Exactly.
Or my research might reveal that my competitors are all charging a premium price for their organic skincare products.
Okay.
And this could be an opportunity to enter the market with a more affordable product line.
Right, targeting a different segment of the market.
So it's about using the insights from my research to develop a competitive advantage.
Exactly, and market research can also inform your marketing and sales strategies.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Well, by understanding your target audience's demographics, psychographics, and media consumption habits, you can develop more targeted and effective marketing campaigns.
So instead of just throwing out a generic message to everyone,
Right.
I can tailor my messages to specific segments of the market?
Exactly, and you can also analyze your competitors' marketing and sales strategies
Okay.
to see what's working for them and adapt those tactics to your own business.
So it's not about copying?
It's not about copying, it's about learning from what others are doing
Right.
and finding what works best for your business.
And finally, market research can help you make informed pricing decisions.
Right, by understanding your competitors' pricing,
Okay.
the perceived value of your product or service,
Uh-huh.
and your customers' willingness to pay.
Okay.
You can develop a pricing strategy that maximizes profitability while remaining competitive.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot.
It is, yeah.
This has been incredibly helpful. I'm starting to see how financial literacy and market research go hand in hand.
They do. They're both essential tools for building a successful business.
So financial literacy is about understanding the numbers within our business.
Right.
And market research is about understanding the landscape outside of our business.
Exactly. It's about having a 360-degree view of your business.
And just like financial literacy, market research doesn't have to be overwhelming.
No, it doesn't.
We can start by asking ourselves some key questions.
Absolutely. Like, who are your ideal customers?
Okay.
What are their needs and pain points?
Uh-huh.
Who are your competitors, and what are their strengths and weaknesses?
Okay.
And what are the key trends shaping your industry?
Okay, so those are good starting points.
They are. And don't be afraid to experiment and try different approaches.
Okay.
The more you understand your market, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the challenges and seize the opportunities that come your way.
So it's all about learning and adapting.
It is.
As we go.
As you go.
And I think one of the most important takeaways from this whole conversation is the concept of continuous improvement.
Right. Never stop learning. Never stop growing.
Yeah. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. And embrace that mindset of growth, learning, adaptation.
Absolutely.
It's about constantly seeking ways to improve your products, your processes, your overall business strategy.
And that ties in perfectly with the final principle we'll be exploring in our deep dive.
Which is?
The importance of building a strong team and fostering a culture of innovation.
So we talked about leadership.
Yeah.
We talked about financial savvy.
Uh-huh.
We talked about market awareness.
Being aware of what's happening outside?
Yes, understanding the landscape, but there's one more principle that Tracy touches on.
Okay.
That I think is crucial for bringing it all to life.
All right, let's hear it.
And that's building a strong team.
Right.
And fostering a culture of innovation.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you can have the most brilliant idea.
Yes.
The best product in the world.
Uh-huh.
But without the right people.
Right.
And the right environment.
Yep.
It's going to be really tough to succeed.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
It is.
It's like trying to build a house with only one tool.
Okay.
You might get started.
You might get started.
But you're not going to create something truly remarkable.
Right. You need the right tools for the job.
You need a variety of tools.
You do.
You need people with diverse skills and perspectives.
Absolutely.
You need those who can bring different tools to the table.
Yes, and who can work together effectively.
So how do we go about finding those people?
Well, I think passion and enthusiasm are essential.
Okay.
You want people who are genuinely excited about your mission.
I agree.
And bring that energy to their work.
Yes, because skills can be learned.
Right.
But passion is contagious.
Absolutely. It's infectious.
It is.
And it can really motivate a team.
You can sense when someone is truly invested in what they're doing.
Yeah, it's palpable.
It is. And I think it's about finding people who align with your vision and values.
Absolutely. You want people who are on the same page as you.
Yeah. So even with a passionate team, things don't always go smoothly. That's for sure. There are challenges. There are setbacks.
Every business faces them.
So how do you build a team that can navigate those rough waters?
Well, I think adaptability and resilience are key.
Okay.
I mean, the business world is constantly changing.
Constantly changing.
So you need people who can roll with the punches.
Right.
Learn from their mistakes.
Yes.
And come back stronger.
So it's not about avoiding failure.
No.
It's about having a team that can bounce back.
And learn from those experiences.
And learn from those experiences. It's almost like building a muscle.
Okay.
The muscle of resilience.
I like that.
And don't forget the importance of communication.
Right.
And collaboration.
Absolutely. I mean, building a successful business is a team effort.
It is.
So you need people who can communicate clearly.
Yes.
Listen actively. And work together effectively.
Work together effectively. And that makes me think about creating a culture of open communication.
Yes.
Where everyone feels comfortable sharing their ideas and perspectives.
Absolutely. You want people to feel safe speaking up.
Yes, without fear of judgment or reprisal.
Right, because you never know where the next great idea is going to come from.
It's that diversity of thought that can lead to truly innovative solutions.
Absolutely. So you want people who can think critically.
Yes.
Identify problems and come up with creative solutions.
And that brings us back to that idea of the different tools, right?
It does.
So it's about finding those individuals who can bring different tools to the table.
Exactly.
But a lot of these qualities that you're describing,
Yeah.
like the passion, the resilience, the communication skills, those aren't always easy to assess
Right.
in a traditional interview setting.
No, they're not.
So how do you go about identifying those traits in potential hires?
Well, I think it's about going beyond the resume.
Oh, yeah.
And really getting to know the person.
Ask open-ended questions.
Exactly. Ask open-ended questions that allow them to share their experiences, their values, their aspirations.
So it's almost like you're trying to get a glimpse of their potential.
Right, not just their past accomplishment.
And once you have the right people in place,
Yeah.
you need to create a culture that encourages innovation.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like?
Well, it starts with leadership.
Okay.
Leaders need to set the tone by being open to new ideas, encouraging experimentation, and rewarding creativity.
So creating a safe space for people to take risks.
Exactly, a safe space to fail.
And try new things.
Yeah, because failure is an inevitable part of the innovation process.
So it's about reframing those failures as learning opportunities.
Right, and encouraging a growth mindset.
I've heard the phrase, fail fast, fail often.
Yeah.
But it's not really about celebrating failure, is it?
No, it's about learning from those failures and iterating quickly.
So it's about finding that balance between structure and freedom.
I think that's a great way to put it.
So you need to provide guidelines and direction. But you also need to give people the space to experiment.
And innovate.
And I think it's also important to create opportunities for collaboration.
Yes.
And cross-pollination of ideas.
Absolutely. Things like brainstorming sessions, hackathons, mentorship programs.
Bringing people together.
Yeah.
From different departments, different backgrounds.
To share their perspectives. It spark new ideas.
It's amazing how much creativity and innovation can emerge.
It really is.
When you create the right environment and empower people to contribute their ideas.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up,
yes,
we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We've gone through a lot of information.
We have.
But I think it's been incredibly insightful.
I agree.
This deep dive into the world of entrepreneurship.
It's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
Likewise. And just to kind of recap.
Okay.
We started with those 7 key principles from Brian Tracy. We talked about the importance of understanding your financials, conducting market research, and building a strong, innovative team.
And fostering that culture of innovation.
Yes. And before we go, I want to remind everyone to download the free PDF.
Oh, yeah, that's a great resource.
That we created called 7 Principles for Building a Successful Business.
It's full of practical tips and insights.
You can find the link in the episode description and pinned comment.
So be sure to check it out.
So we've covered a lot, but we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, what resonated with you?
What are you going to implement in your own endeavors?
Share your comments below. And let's keep the conversation going.
Until next time.
Keep learning.
Keep growing.
And keep innovating.